What is up, my Forex for Beginners family? Okay, so today we're gonna have a in-depth look at MetaTrader 4, and most importantly, we're gonna learn how to place trades and set a stop loss and a take profit. That is essentially what we use MetaTrader for. This is a trading platform. We use this to place trades. We use TradingView to do our chart markups, but this is MetaTrader 4. We use this just to place trades and just to monitor our trade and open and close trades. And this is where our profit or losses and our account balance. This is where we keep track of our how much we have in our account, and this is the main trading platform. So I'm going to go into kind of in depth, but really I just want you to first focus on just making sure you're logged in and learn just the basics. And then after I teach you the basics, then maybe I'll go over some, other things that MetaTrader 4 can do, just so you have a good overall understanding. So you can watch this lesson once, practice what I tell you, and then once you master the beginning concepts, then you can continue trying out the other things that I will talk about towards the end of the lesson. Okay, so let's just look at the trading platform. So it should look something like this. If it doesn't, don't worry. I'm going to right now delete everything and then show you how to really manipulate everything in MetaTrader 4 here. So just hang on and you'll fully understand everything you can do in MetaTrader 4. So first I want you to just be aware that there's a file menu up top here. So we've already learned how to log in. So let's just look at the file menu here, right? So it says new chart, and then it also shows you to log in, open a new account, or log into a trade account. So step one, let's make sure we're logged in. And we did this last lesson, but let me just make sure again. So last lesson we went to log into trade account, and then we entered our account number here, and then our password. We made sure it said Hugo's Way 3, and then we hit login. And when we hit login, down here on the bottom right, as long as we see some numbers here, and it says connection status, that means that we have a connection. And also when you click on this little trade tab here, if you see a balance here, then that means we are connected to the trading platform and everything is good. Okay, so that's step one. So now that we know we're logged in, let's just remove everything so I can teach you how to not be worried about, I don't want you to be worried that you're going to do something wrong. Right now we're learning on a demo account. See up top here it says Hugo's Way Demo. The point of this demo account is for you to not be worried about doing anything wrong. Right now we want to learn so we don't make mistakes eventually when you move on to a live account. So I want you to close all of these charts. You may have some charts, you may have already closed them. Doesn't matter, just close them all. There's a little X here, just X everything. Even this guy here, hit an X. So now we should have a nice, clean, blank MetaTrader 4 platform. So I want you to first, let's just, all these buttons up here, let's talk about it. So right here, this first button says create a new chart. When you hover your mouse over it, it'll give you some sort of information. So you can see it says create a new chart. So here it'll list some, these are called currency pairs. So this is Australian dollar versus the US dollar, or US dollar versus the CHF, that's the Swiss franc. And then basically this is what we call a currency pair, GBP versus USD. So there's always one currency versus another. So that's what trading is. When you're trading currencies, you're just exchanging one currency for another. When we buy the currency or we sell the currency, as the price moves in our direction, we make money. So I'm going to explain that a little later. So I just want you to know that this first button here, it just lists all these different currencies. So here it just puts it into like categories. You can trade oil, you can trade gold, and then there's cryptocurrencies as well. So throughout the training, we're gonna focus on AUD USD. So if you just click on that, it opens up this chart right here. So I just want you to first know that that's how you open up a chart, right? You can maximize it, you can minimize it, you can move it around, and this is how we open up a currency pair. So let's just open up a couple. So let's just open up USD CHF, and then we can open up Euro USD. So basically this is how you can open multiple charts. Then there's this button right here. So this actually, it just kind of spreads the charts out. So you see how I did that? So you can maximize the individual charts. So see on the right here, you can close a chart, you can minimize it. When you minimize it, it goes down here. So it's always open, but you can like hide it. So that just minimizes it. You can make it full screen, and that's how we manipulate that chart. So I'm just going to delete all these charts right now, and I'm just going to open up AUD USD. So we'll just leave this open on our chart. Actually, I'll leave it like this, and then I'll actually just minimize it, and so you can see it's just sitting here. So now let's look at the next button here. What's this? This is profiles. We can ignore this one. This is just saving profiles. We don't need to do anything in there. This thing here. So this button right here, this is called Market Watch. So just how when we went into File and we went New Chart, it also lists all the different pairs that we can trade. And you can see AUD USD is listed here as well. We're going to focus on this currency pair. We're going to master this currency pair. In this training, I'm doing something that no one else I've seen do before. I'm going to have all of my students focus on one currency pair. This is the way you can master your skills of chart analysis, because every currency pair moves a little bit different. So you don't want to be trying to learn a bunch of different currencies, because you're going to get confused. Get to know one currency pair. That's the goal of our training, is to get to know one currency pair, because each currency pair moves a little bit different, right? If you right click on AUD USD, you can go New Order. This is how you place a trade. I'll go over this in a minute. But I just want you to know there's multiple ways to do essentially the same thing. So here we can also right click on the chart and go New Chart Window. So it just opens up New Chart. So you can see at the bottom here, we have 2 charts now listed. So you can open up multiple charts of one currency pair. So AUD USD, we have 2 charts open now, right? So let me see what's in here. So I'm right clicking again. You can ignore that. Specifications. So this is good to just read in here. I'll talk about this a little bit more in the future when I have a section called Forex Terms, and we'll talk about this section here. But here, it talks about market sessions, when you can trade this asset. So AUD USD. It also talks about, in here, it talks about swap fees. So I'm going to go over this in a future chapter. Swap fees are just when you leave trades open overnight, there's a small fee for interest, but I'll talk about that later. It's nothing you have to worry about right now. I just want you to know how to navigate MetaTrader 4. So we can just close that. Let's see what else is underneath here. So symbols. So we go to symbols. If you go to symbols, this actually controls what you can see here. So see how there's various things listed here. But for example, say metals, for example. Right now, we're looking on the left here. The only metal shown here is gold. XAU USD stands for gold, right? You can see XAU USD here. It's showing USD versus the US dollar. See how it's got this gold, it's gold colored. And if you click on it, you can see that you can hide it. When I clicked hide, it disappeared from here. See how it's gone? Now, if I click on it again, so USD versus US dollar, and I click over here and I go show, see how it appeared over here? So this controls what you want to see over here on the left, right? So these are like, this market watch is like a shortcut, right? It's a shortcut to control certain, when you want to open up new charts, you can quickly just right click here and open up a new chart. But this symbols here, so say if you want to trade, say you want to trade US dollar versus silver, you have to come here and show, and now it's listed under here. It's listed under this market watch. So if there's ever a currency pair that you can't see here in the market watch, and you wanted to open up a new chart, you have to come here and make sure that it's actually showing. Like, see all the major, these are called the major Forex pairs. So you can see they're all already colored gold. That means they're showing. That's how we add new currency pairs that we want to trade to the market watch block. So I just want you to know that. We can also go into under File or go to View, and view symbols is another way of getting into here. So there's multiple ways to access the same menus, but I just want you to know that symbols, the symbols menu, is how we add shortcuts into our market watch, how we add Forex pairs or different assets we want to trade into the market watch column here. That's all I want you to understand there. So like I said, we're focusing on AUD USD, and we now know how to open up a new AUD USD chart. So I just want you to practice these things. It's not really hard, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. So you can open up a new chart by right-clicking here and going Chart Window, or you can go File, New Chart, AUD USD. You can click there, or you can go to FX Majors, and again, you'll just see it here. And that's how you open up a trading chart. So I really want you to be familiar with how to do that. We now know how to add shortcuts to our market watch by just right-clicking and going to symbols. And then here, like some people like to trade Bitcoin, or, this is more advanced. I don't want you to do this until you've mastered all the lessons in our training. But like I'm saying, like right here, if people want to trade, a popular item is, where's Ethereum? Ethereum versus US dollar. So all you do is go hit show, and now you have Ether listed here. I'm teaching you how to trade currencies, but like I said, eventually you can trade anything. You can trade oil, you can trade Bitcoin, you can cryptocurrencies. There's endless possibilities of what you can trade. But first, we must master AUD USD. So I want you to just focus on AUD USD, because that will be the main focus for us beginners learning right now. Okay, so let's just close this and let's continue looking at these tabs here. So we already know what this market watch is. This guy here, the data window, we don't need to bother with this one. We can just close it. This one right here, navigation. So here, it actually lists the accounts that we have saved. So I'm going to show you a quick way to create another demo account. So our demo accounts, I don't want you to be worried about making mistakes or losing money or gaining money right now. Right now we're just learning, and this is what our demo account is for. I also want you to open up this terminal. So see this button right here, terminal? See how it toggles down here? When we're on the trade tab down here, it'll show us our account balance. I want you to be familiar with this trade tab as well as this journal tab. So when we're logging in, if we have problems logging in or you enter the password incorrectly, you'll get some sort of message here under journal. It'll say incorrect password or account not valid. So I want you to be familiar with this journal tab, because this is, when we don't have on the bottom right here, when we don't have a connection showing, if you go to journals, it'll show you some sort of, it'll say maybe invalid account or password is incorrect, stuff like that. And so we want to be familiar with the trade tab. Account history, this is where it's going to show you, your trades you've taken in the past, whether they're wins or losses. It just orders them here. You can go right click on here and go view the last 3 months. So it'll just keep a list of all your trade history in here. And let me see. So basically just we're gonna always leave it on the trade tab, and then sometimes you like to look at your account history and journal. So that's the only 3 tabs that we care about. So we're gonna leave this open. So normally we leave this tab showing this because it shows us our balance. It'll also show us open trades, which I'm gonna show you in a minute. So let me just close this. So back to this window here. So I'm gonna close this terminal tab. We were talking about this tab right here, the navigation tab. So see how it lists our different accounts here? So I'm gonna show you actually another way to create a new demo account. So say you were just practicing, your demo account is now down to $100, and in the future lessons, you're going to take trading a little bit more serious once you learn chart analysis. And say you're like, I want to create a new demo account just to start fresh. So I'm going to show you a quick way to create a demo account. So if you go File and you go to Open an Account, here it'll show you Hugo's Way Demo 3. So only do this for demo account, not a live account. The live account, we're going to log into our what we call the back office of our broker account when we log into their website. That's how we open up a live account. But right now we're just learning on demo. So this is a quick way to create multiple demo accounts. So you just click on Hugo's Way Demo 3. And then if you click on Next, you'll see here, it'll say create a new demo account. Hit Next. And then here you can enter whatever information you want. It's only a demo account, so this information doesn't have to be real. When you're trading a live account, the information absolutely has to be real, right? But this is just a demo account. And then make sure the leverage says 1 to 500, and then here you can drop down and you can pick whichever, this is your deposit amount. So see here it says balance 500. I suggest you can also enter a balance. So I suggest 500. 500 is a good, I think, starting balance. Most students will start with, you can start with 100, 200, 300, 500, but let's just use 500. Let's not, let's be realistic. Some people, pick, 50,000 or, let's just be realistic of what size account you're going to have when you start a new trading account, right? So let's just go 500. Just hit agree to newsletter. If you don't get this button to highlight here, just make sure this is checked like this, and you should get this next button highlight. And if you have any red columns here, then you need to enter some information a little different. So we're just going to hit next. And so here it shows you a login. So you want to write this down or copy it into a notebook. This is like the same thing we got in our email. So it's going to tell you our server. The server has to be Hugo's Way Demo 3, and it's going to give you a login and a password. So you can write these down or copy it to a notepad, whatever you like. When you hit finish, it's going to automatically log you in. Hear that sound? That sound means you're logged in. Incoming mail, this is telling you that you've logged in. See down here on the right here, you can see that, yes, we have a connection. You can go to journal. It shows you here we logged in, so everything's good. Trading account. So when you click on trade, you can see now we have a new fresh balance of 500. So that's how easy it was to create a demo account. And also, we were talking about this tab here. So now here you can actually, it lists all the different accounts. So say you want to switch between the accounts. You can just click on it and click on login. That's how quickly it logs into a different account. See that? See the balance is now 4,000. And I can double click on it, hit login. Now I'm in my $500 trading account, my demo account. So that's how easy it is to change accounts. You can also go File, log into trade account, and then you'll also have that information saved here. So that's just a quick way. of logging in and creating a demo account. So we're just going to close that. That's all we need to know about that tab. And this tab, this button here now we're looking at, we're always going to have this on. This is like one of our main tabs. This is the one that we want to display because we always want to look at our balance. We also want to be able to look at, open trades will be displayed here, and I'm going to show you that. So right now we're going to leave this tab open, okay? And what's this other button here? Strategy tester, we don't need to bother with this. This is when you're running like software. Just ignore that. And then new order. So I'm going to teach you that's how to place trades. I'm going to teach you that in a minute. Let's see what else you need to know about these tabs here. So you can ignore all of these tabs. Auto trading, you don't want that on, so just make sure it has a little red dot there. This is when it's green, it means it's on. You just want to make sure it's off. We're not going to be using that. So that's all I really want you to know about that. So now let's get into actually looking at the chart. So we're just going to go File, New Chart, AUD USD. We could also go, through this little button here, AUD USD. That was another way to do it. Or we can go to FX Majors, click there. And then again, I told you about this little tab here, this middle one. That just spreads out the charts, whichever amount of charts you have open. We just want to have one chart open right now, so we don't care about that. We're going to maximize this. And now we're at the most important part, is looking at the chart that we're going to focus on for many lessons to come. Okay, so let's now set up this chart properly. If you bring your mouse here, we can adjust this tab. So let's just adjust it so we have maximum display. We're just going to move it down a little bit and leave it about there. That's about good. Okay, so first thing I want you to do is right click on your chart and go here. It says grids. I want you to get rid of the grid. So that gets rid of that. And then let's start looking at some of these tools. So here, this is actually, these are like candlesticks or bar charts. Right now, if we look at these two, this is a zoom in and zoom out. So if we zoom in, you can see that this is bar charts. It's showing us in bar charts. We read candlesticks. We're not going to be using bar charts. So I want you to just click this middle one. See how it says candlesticks? I want you to click on that. This is what we're primarily going to be using, candlesticks. We're going to learn candlestick analysis on TradingView later. But right now, I just want you to set this to candlesticks. Okay, and the next two buttons here on the top here, this is zoom in and zoom out. We already talked about that. So you can just play around with this. I want you to just touch all these buttons after this lesson and just get familiar with just manipulating this chart. So we selected candlesticks. These are our zoom in, zoom out buttons. We know what this button does. This is just, it maximizes when we have multiple charts. And then the next one is these two. This automatically moves the chart. So if you want to scroll to the left here, see how it snapped back there? It's because we had this little item selected. So what this does is it pushes the chart always to the right when there's a new data comes in. So say if you want to, let's uncheck both of these. So see how you can push them in? Right here, we pushed them out, right? So they're not selected. Now we can actually, I'm using my wheel mouse right now. I'm using my wheel mouse. Also, you can left click with your mouse and drag. This is another way to move the charts if you want to look back in the past. You can see, let's look at the chart here. So this is the price. This right column here is price. So we're looking at Australian dollar versus the US dollar. So what this is telling us is 1 Australian dollar is worth how much US dollar, right? And that's what these candles are telling us. So these candles are showing us that at this moment in time, right here, so since we're trading here, AUD USD, that's the base currency is Australian dollar. 1 Australian dollar is worth how much US dollar? Say I was from Australia and I was visiting the United States. If I had 1 Australian dollar and I exchanged that for American dollars, right at this very moment, I would get 72 cents US dollar. So that's how we read the chart. So 1 Australian dollar is the base currency. So we're looking at the chart AUD USD. So 1 Australian dollar is worth how much US dollar. And right now, this right column is showing us the price. This little line right here, this is the price line. So that's showing us what the current price is. And so if I exchanged 1 Australian dollar at this moment, see how it's moving? I would get 72 cents. And it's always moving because price is always fluctuating. So if we scroll to the left here, like I was saying, you just hold your left mouse button and drag, or you can use your wheel mouse. This is me using the wheel mouse. We can look at the bottom column here. This bottom column here is the date. So here it says August 5th. If we keep scrolling back, you know, it's now looking, it's May 29. So you can go back in history and look at what price was at a certain date. So April 7th, price was about 61 cents. 61 cents. So for 1 Australian dollar at this point in time, I could get about 62 cents for 1 Australian dollar. So that's how we look at the graph. So this graph is, the right column here is the price versus the time. Timeline is on the bottom. So that's pretty easy, right? So we were looking at these buttons right here. So when we want to scroll back in time, we have to uncheck these, because watch what happens when I check these boxes, it actually pushes the chart all the way to the right. So it stays focused on what the current price is. So if I try to go back in the past, see how I went back in the past, give it 1 second, see how it snapped back to current price? Well, that's what these two buttons do. It forces the chart to scroll to the right when new price comes out. And this one actually, it creates this little, see this little, I'm toggling it off and on. See how it creates this gap right here? Well, I tend to also I don't like when prices, I don't like when the chart is like, you know, so close to this right column that, I don't know, for some reason I just don't like it, and that's why they invented this feature. You can just click on it and it just scrolls the chart a little bit to the left, so you have some room in between here. It's just a feature. Some people like it, some people don't. You can also adjust this gap. So see, if I take my mouse and left click here, and I can move this gap. See how the gap closed? Actually, I want you to do this. I want you to move it all the way right, because I like just a little gap. I don't like too big of a gap. So again, let's just review. This just, if you want to scroll back in the past, you have to unselect these two. And then you can scroll back in the past. And if you want price to, you want the chart to snap back into real time, then just have those selected, and price, the chart price will always stay in this position. And you know, when you look back in the past, in a couple seconds, it'll snap back to the right because you have these two items selected. So I want you to actually just, for now, just have them selected on, and then move this to the very far right, and we'll have a little bit of a gap here. Okay, so the next button here, indicators. We don't need to talk about this right now. Time charts. This represents each one of these bars. So you can use this button, but this right here, it's also displayed right here. I prefer you guys to use this shortcut here. So let's just talk about, let's see what this is. Right here, this is just to save a template. We don't need to worry about that right now. I might show you later. But let's just look at these individual bars, right? So right now, we're talking about the time, this little time menu here. So right now, 1 hour is selected. So what does that mean? Each one of these bars, see each one of these bars, and it's called a candlestick, and we're gonna talk about more in depth about candlesticks later, but how do we interpret what we're looking at here? So because we're on the 1 hour chart, that means each one of these bars represents 1 hour. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So in 7 hours, these 7 bars formed. So this is showing you that in 1 hour, price went from, let me see here, it went from 73 cents to right here. This is where the bar closed. So when the bar has an open and a closed side. So before, see how right now this candle is still forming. This time is still candle hasn't closed. When it says it's closed, you'll see a new candle forming. So this, let's just look at this one candle here. So this, because we're on the 1 hour chart, so this is selected, the 1 hour chart, this is telling us that this one candle in 1 hour went from 0.73178 to 0.73013. So in 1 hour, price went from here to here. And that's when the new candle forms, that means this candle has closed. So when a new candle forms, this previous candle is considered closed. So there's an open price and then there's a closed price. When you see this white candle going down, that means price went down. That's why it's a white color. And when it's going up, it's a different color. Here, it could be any color depending on your settings. But right now you can see the black and green candle is when price goes up. And the white candle is when price goes down. And these little lines here, this little thing here, this is called a wick. So during this 1 hour, this is where so this is a candle body. This white part is a candle body. And then these top little lines are called wicks. So when price fell, this price right here where I drew this line, this is called the open price. So when the new candle started, it was here. And when it closed, price was here. And when it closes, a new candle forms. So that's all I really want you to understand right now is what this candle means. It means that price opened here and it closed here, and the price difference is as shown. So I'll teach you how to draw these lines as well. So here, let's look at this little column here right now. So these are just tools. Right now I'm using the arrow tool, and then you have this crosshair tool. You can also use this. This gives you a nice, say you're looking to see when this candle formed. Well, using this crosshair tool, you can see on the right here, it says price was at when this candle opened, because it dropped down. So at the open price, it was 73 cents, 73,179. And then you can also see that this is the date and time that price opened. So this crosshair tool just easily lets you look at the right-hand column and the bottom column, so you can look at the price and the date really quickly. And then let's look at this next button here. So this is a vertical line. You can draw some vertical lines if you want. I'm not going to really be using that. And then right click here, back up here, looking at this menu here. This is the horizontal line tool. So that's how I drew this line. So I just clicked on that tool, and then you click on your chart. To edit this, you double click. See how I made this little these dot here? So you can double click, and when you double click it and it has this little dot here, there's also a dot over here. That means then you can left click with your mouse and move it. And then if you double click it, it locks it in place. So now I can't move it, right? So this is just a basic tool. We don't do our markups on MetaTrader 4 because the tools on this platform are really basic. But what I'm teaching right now is just what this candle means. And so I've taught you now, right now, each candle represents 1 hour, right? So basically this time chart here, or these time buttons here, so when I change it to the 4 hour, now each one of these candles represents 4 hours in time, right? So this is 4 hours here. This candle is still forming because when when this candle closes, you'll have a new candle forming. So here now, because I switched to the 4 hour, so we were at the 1 hour, then I switched to the 4 hour. Now each one of these candles represents 4 hours. So 4, 8, 12, that's 12 hours of price movement. And so let's just use our basic tool again, this horizontal line tool. So if I draw a line here, double click it, then I can move it. And then let me draw another line here. So now because we're on the 4 hour time chart, that's telling us that in 4 hours, the price went from 0.73182 to 0.72878. So that's all that means. So this just changes the time reference of each candle. So let me go back to the 1 hour chart. Do you see how now that one candle we were looking at, this one candle, this is 4 hours. So if I go to the 1 hour candle, you can see since now each one of these candles represents 1 hour, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see that there's actually 4 candles within that one candle, right? Now I switch to the daily time frame. So now each one of these candles represents 1 day. So 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day, 5 day. So that's all I want you to understand right now, is that as you change these time frames, like this is now 1 minute, right? 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute. All this does is it changes what one candle represents. So right now we're on the 30-minute time frame. Each one of these candles represents 30 minutes, 30 minutes. So you can see price went down, then it went up for 30 minutes, then it went down for several more 30-minute cycles, and then it went up, and then it went down. So you can see there's multiple candles because they're each worth 30 minutes. Now we go to the 1 hour candle. When price went from here to here, there was 4 candles because each one of them represents an hour. Now we're looking at the 4 hour time frame. There's 1 candle because it's a 4 hour candle. So I hope you understand that. And we're going to go into this more in depth later, but I just wanted you to know that these buttons here change what the single candle represents. That's all. That's all I want you to understand right now is, now we're at the monthly. See how, this is 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, 4 month, 5 months, 6 months. This is 6 months of price movement. So if I move this line here and move this right here, see how I double clicked on it? I was able to move it, and then I double clicked it and locked it. Now I can't move it. But you can see since we're on the monthly chart, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In 6 months, price went from 0.61348 to 0.73896. So that's amazing to see, right? Now, see how easy it is to just switch to the monthly chart, and you can get a good understanding of what has happened as far as price. In the last 6 months, 1 Australian dollar has been able to buy more US dollar. So you can see here, let's go back to AUD USD. What does this chart mean? It means 1 Australian dollar will buy how much US dollar. So in the last 6 months, 1 Australian dollar used to buy 61 cents US dollar, but in the last 6 months, price has been going up, 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 up. And now 1 Australian dollar can buy 73 cents, almost 74 cents US dollar. So that's how we interpret the chart. Okay, so you've learned now about the time frames. You've learned how to open new charts. Opening a new chart is very easy. The next thing I want you to do is right-click on your chart and go to Properties. Here you can actually, if you want to change your color scheme, you can go, yellow on black if that's what you like, or you can go green on black. I think green on black is good. It's up to you. You can go black on white. So here's where you can change the colors. But what I want you to do more importantly is I want you to go to this common tab, and we're going to change a few things in here, maybe just one. So here you can also, toggle the grid on and off. I actually want you to go in here and just make sure the grid is off. And I want you to click on Show Ask Line. And that's it for now. And let's just quickly click on Period Separator. We're not going to leave this on, but let's go to the daily chart. So what this shows you, I'm just going to quickly, for some students that want to know, Period Separator, this tells you when the market is changing sessions. So there's a New York session, and there's like a London session, and then there's an Asian session. So you can, since the market is trading 24 hours a day, in the United States, people aren't trading. The US market only, it only works from 9 to 5, right? People at the New York Stock Exchange are only trading during the day. So when one market closes, a new market opens somewhere else in the world. That's why you can trade currencies 24 hours a day, because as one session closes, a new session opens up. And I'm going to go into that detail later, but I just want you to know that during these vertical lines, here, this is when the market is changing over to a new session. And during these times, you really don't want to be placing trades because there's things like spread that increases, and I'm going to talk about that later. It's just how the brokers make money and how much assets are available. It's just when the markets are switching over, it's kind of like a uncertain time. So let me just switch to, say, the 1 hour. Let me actually go to the 15-minute. So let me show you a good example. So I want to scroll back in the past, so I had to deselect these two. Trying to show you a good example. So see how there's a little bit of a gap here? It's minor, but that's just showing you that's when the markets were, it just closed and then it reopened and there was a little bit of a price difference. So that's what happens when, here's another, it's called a gap. So when the markets are changing over, that's what you'll see. So that's what market sessions is. I don't really want you to keep it on your charts. Actually, you can keep it on your charts. It doesn't actually clutter it too much. So we'll leave market sessions on your charts right now. I'm going to talk about it in a later chapter. But really, it shows you when the market is closing and when it's going to open up again. But for now, I'm going to have you go back to properties. You can turn this on later, but just to simplify the charts, I don't really want to view it right now. So it's called period separators. Again, that's just when the market opens and closes. We're going to turn that off for now. Okay, so looking at the chart right now, I had you, most importantly, turn on this show ask line. So what does that mean? So it added this extra line right here. So now you have two lines. One is this gray line is called the bid line, or the bid line. So when you're selling, that is the line you're going to be looking at, and when you're buying, you're going to be looking at this, what they call the ask line. I'm going to switch to the 5-minute chart. So the difference between these two, I'm going to go over it a little bit later, but I want you to have this on your chart because the difference is called spread. It's how the broker makes money. There's a little bit of commission they add. That's why there's a difference between the buy and sell price. But we're not going to get into detail about that because I don't want to, cause you any sort of confusion right now. I just want you to have those lines turned on, and that's all I want to tell you about that right now. So if you want to also manipulate your charts, you can also, right on this column right here, you can use your mouse. You want to left click and hold, and then you can kind of shrink the chart vertically. So I want you to be familiar with doing that. So that's one way to manipulate your charts. Also the zoom, you can zoom in and zoom out. So just know that you can zoom in, zoom out, and if you want to, stretch the chart vertically, this is how we do it. Just you just use your mouse, you left click and hold your mouse, and then you can scroll this chart vertically. That's all I want you to do right now. Okay, the next thing I want you to do is I want you to go up here and I want you to click on Market Watch, and I want you to right click on any one of these, it doesn't matter, just right click with your mouse, and I want you to click on Spread. So it opened up this new column here. I'm going to talk about spread later. Where is Australian? So the Australian dollar versus US dollar, that's the one we're going to focus on. You can yours might be a little bit lower on this list here. I want you to move it to the top because that's going to be our main focus. So if you left click with your mouse and hold, you can actually move this to anywhere you want. So maybe your AUD USD is down here. I want you to left click with your mouse and hold, and then drag your mouse and then let go right there. It puts it to the top. So look right here, it's showing you that it's saying 14, right? This is actually showing you spread. So spread is how the broker makes money. I'm going to talk about this later, but I just want you to know that the difference between these two lines, this red line is the buy line and this line is the sell line. The difference between these two is what we call spread. And I'm going to go into that detail about it later. I don't want to confuse you about that right now. Right now we're just setting up our chart. So I just wanted you to have this column displayed here. So it's set, and that's all I want you to worry about. So forget about the word spread right now. I just wanted you to have this column displayed for the future. So we can just close that again. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that so far. So now we have our MetaTrader chart set up. We have our buy and ask line showing, which is very important. We have the grid hidden, so there's no grid here. It's a nice black layout. We learned about these, the time, how to change the time frames. This is when I refer to, in the training, I say a 1 hour chart or a 4 hour chart. What I'm talking about is the time frame, what each one of these candles, whether it represents 1 hour or 4 hours or a daily, this is what we call looking at. So right now we're looking at the daily time frame. Each one of these candles represents 1 day. So when you hear me say look at the monthly time frame or the weekly time frame or the daily time frame, we're talking about the individual candles, whether it represents a day or 4 hours or even 5 minutes. We look at the 5-minute chart. So each one of these candles represents 5 minutes. How much did price move in 5 minutes? So that's all I want you to know. And next we're going to talk about how to place trades. And this is the most important part. So I hope you're still with me. The main part of this was to set up our charts, and now we're going to learn how to place trades, which is the most important part. Okay, so let's place a trade, finally. Okay, so there's a few ways we can do this. We can go new order and make sure this is a drop-down menu. There's various currencies we can trade, but essentially when we're looking at one chart, so when we're looking at the AUD USD chart, if we click on here, new order, it'll always be the currency pair that we're currently on the chart that we're looking at. It'll always show that, so we don't have to adjust that. Volume, this is the trade size. So I want you to play around with this. This is very important. We, as beginners, we want to trade small. We want to place small trades. So we're going to be learning with 0.01 volume. It's also referred to as lots. So this is the lot size. So how big of a trade you're placing. We're going to start trading with 0.01. It's the smallest trade size. And then there's stop loss and take profit. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Market execution, that means it'll place a trade right away. So it's always, we want to have it on market execution. And then here, we just hit place a sell. If we think price is going to go down, we're going to be selling. If we think price is going to go up, we're going to buy. Simple as that. So say I'm going to close this. Say based on our analysis, which you don't know how to do yet, But say we're thinking that price is going to, we think price is going to continue further down, right? This is just a little line I drew. I'm going to delete it. But say we think price is going to go down. All we do is click on new order. We set our trade size, and we make sure it says market execution, which means it'll place a trade right away. And if we think price will go down in price, then we hit sell. So let's hit sell. So there, it's confirming that this is our order, and it's saying it was successful, and just hit OK. So you can see here now when we're selling, selling, you can see that this green line right here, this is our sell order. See how it says 0.01? So we just placed a sell order. It actually opened on this gray line. So this gray line right here is what we call the bid line. And that when we're selling, that's the line that this green line actually opened up on this line here. And here, let's just stretch this a little larger. Here it gives you information about the trade. So here it tells us what time we placed the trade, type of trade, whether it was a buy or sell. It's showing us our size of our trade. So that's the lot size or volume. It's showing us the symbol we're trading, which is Australian dollar versus the US dollar, what price we place that trade, and a stop loss and take profit. So a stop loss is, it's a safety mechanism. It's part of risk management, which I'll talk about later. But we can set, because we're not always sitting at our computer, this is a safety feature that allows the computer to automatically close a trade if it's going against us. And I'll show you that in a minute. And take profit is, it automatically closes the trade when we hit our profit target. And then here, this is just showing us what price, what the current price is. So it reflects what price is at right now. Commission, we'll talk about later, is just how the broker makes a little bit of commission per trade. You can see it's 5 cents, it's very small. And swap fees, that's, when we leave trades open overnight, there's a small interest fee. We'll talk about that more later. And then here, this is what we call our floating profit or loss. So as the trade is open, you're going to see price go positive or negative depending on which way price is going. So right now, you can see we placed a sell position here. If price continues downwards, so if price goes down, you'll see that this will start going positive. It'll go positive, $1, $2, whatever. It depends on the trade size. But all I want you to understand is when you place a trade, a sell trade, and as price starts going down, then this will start going positive. If price is going upwards, like right now you can see price is going upwards and we're selling, that's why you can see the price is going negative. So this is what I call when price starts going against us. So when we're in a sell condition and price starts going up, which is in a buy condition. When price is going up, we're buying. When price is going down, we're selling. So right now we're in a sell condition, right? So you can see here, let's just quickly look at this. Our balance does not change until we close our trade. Equity is how much we have in our trading account, and that depends on margin. We'll talk about in future lessons. But I want you just to know that this equity is based on how much negative or positive we're here. So say if we're selling and price went $100 positive, then this would show plus 100. But when it's going negative, it'll start going lower. So that's how that works. So this is our floating profit and loss. It doesn't get taken out of our balance until we close the trade. Okay, so back to this sell condition, right? So right now we're selling. I want you to learn how to set a stop loss and a take profit. So what I want you to do is bring your mouse right here, and I want you to left click and hold. So use your mouse button. We'll talk about that again. I want you to bring it right here. See how it changes to, it says drag to modify. So you want to left click and hold on your mouse and drag it up. So we're looking right here. See how I'm still holding my left mouse button and I'm dragging, but do you see how it shows $1.13, so a negative? So this is our stop loss. So if price continues going up and it hits this level here, the stop loss will automatically close the trade with a $1 loss, $1.12 loss, and that will come out of our balance down here. So I'm gonna just let go. If you get this one-click trading, I want you to just hit cancel here, because if I selected one-click trading, it wouldn't give me the second pop-up. So I'm just gonna hit cancel here. So right here is what is the effect of hitting that cancel. So when I modify my trade, it'll ask me to verify again what I'm doing. So all we're doing is modifying the stop loss. This number is automatically put in here because I dragged the stop loss, and then just hit modify. And then this is just confirming what we did, hit OK. So you can see now we have a stop loss here. So we can move our mouse over here and just hover our mouse here. So see how it shows profit negative $1.17. That's telling us that when if price continues going upwards, and this bottom right here, it'll reach a level of, once it reaches $1.17 negative, it will close the trade automatically. That's why it's called a stop loss. Because we're selling right now, we're expecting price to go down. That's why we're selling. So when we're selling and price starts going upwards, by setting a stop loss, we're controlling how much we lose out of our account. So as price goes up, this red line, so I want you to see this red line here. When we're selling, when we went sell, price opened up on this gray line because this is the bid line, right? So when we're selling, this is where the green line opened on this gray line. But I want you to know the red line will be the trigger for our stop loss and also for our take profit. So let's set a take profit here. So I'm gonna left click on here and drag. So look here now. Now it says TP. Before it said stop loss, but because I dragged it down because we're selling, you can see that it's showing $1.80, or so it's showing 85 cents. So if I let go here, and then I get this pop-up, and I hit modify, and then hit OK. So now it's set a take profit. So now if price, this red line here, if price continues down and hits our take profit, it will automatically close the trade, and into our balance, we will have a positive deposit. So when this red line hits our take profit, it closes the trade and it either puts money in or takes money out of our balance. So if it hits our stop loss, right now our stop loss is set at $1.17. So if price continues up, and this red line hits our stop loss, it will take $1.17 out of my balance here. And if price continues down and hits this line, it's gonna put 81 cents into my balance here. So let me just change the time frame here. So normally when we're trading, our take profit is always gonna be larger than our stop loss, because obviously we wanna risk so much to make more profit, right? So in the training, I'm going to be teaching you how to risk, say, $10 to make $30. We want to try to make 2 to 3x our return. You know, that's pretty good. So if you're risking, for every dollar you risk, if we make $3, that's a pretty good risk to reward ratio. So in this example here, you can see that we're risking $1.17 to make, let me see here, to make $3.43. So that's as easy as it is to place a sell. So trading is about setting a trade, whether it's buying or selling, you set a stop loss to prevent uncontrolled loss if the trade goes against you. And what does it mean to go against you? When you're in a sell condition, you're expecting price to go down. But if price continues upwards, it'll hit our safety level, which is called a stop loss. And if price continues down, it'll hit our take profit. And these are automatic functions that either they'll close our trade in profit or it'll close our trade in a loss. That's essentially what trading is. So we saw how to open a trade. So I want you to show you how easy it is to close a trade. So say for whatever reason, we wanted to manually close our trade. So say price came down to this level here and you were like, I've made $2. I want to close my trade. So all you do is come down here. See this X here? Just hit the X. It's going to confirm what you want to do. Right here is telling you close. We want to close this trade. So right now we're actually negative 50 cents. So if I close this trade, so right now in the bottom here, our balance shows $500. So if I close our trade, we're actually going to be closing it in a 50-cent loss. But this is a demo account. So don't worry about losing money. Right now, we're just learning how to use the functions of MetaTrader 4. So I'm going to hit close. It's just confirming it did what I wanted. So you can see now the green lines are gone. My stop loss and take profit are gone. Our balance, look, our balance has been reduced by 50 cents. We can also go to account history, and this will show us, our previous trade, right? So this was our trade. We sold our lot size. We closed the trade in a 50-cent loss, and now our remaining balance is $499.48. So essentially that's what trading is right there. Okay, so let's do the opposite now. Let's go new order up here. Let's place a buy. So we think price is going to go up. So now we're buyers, right? We're buyers. We're going to make sure it says Australian dollar versus the US dollar. Our volume is going to be 0.01. And we're going to hit buy. So now it's confirming that we just placed a buy. So see now on the red line, which is the buy line or the ask line, the buy. So when we're buying, it opens up on the red line. And now the trigger for our stop loss and our take profit will be the gray line. So now I'm going to just do the same thing I did before. Now because we're buying, if the trade goes down, that's what we call it when it's going against us. So since we're buying, we think price is going to increase. Now our stop loss is going to be on the bottom, right? If price starts going down because we're in a buy, that's where we want to set our stop loss. So now we're just going to, again, left click with our mouse and then drag down. See how here it's now showing stop loss. So it's showing us a stop loss of $2, $3, whatever you want to set as your stop loss. But for now, we're just going to say we're going to set it to $1.50, right? We'll set it to $1.50. It's confirming that I wanted to set a stop loss. It automatically filled it in there and hit modify and hit OK. So here you can see our stop loss is set. We're in a buy. Our buy order is also showing here, right here. Buy, what size, what symbol it is, what price we bought at. Our stop loss is also shown down here and what the current price is, small commission, and our floating profit and losses. So now we have a stop loss set for $1.53. If price goes against us, which I mean, since we're in a buy, when I say it's going against us, that means price is falling, but we're in a buy, we want price to be going up. So let's set a take profit. So I'm going to come to this green line. I'm going to left click my mouse and I'm going to drag it upwards while holding my left mouse button. So now it shows $3.50. So say we're going to set it to, say about here. Let's set it to here. So here it's showing, let's set it to $3.50. I let go and I hit modify, hit OK. So now we have a stop loss set of $1.53. We're in a buy trade and our take profit is at, let me see, $3.55 profit. So as price goes up, it'll hit our take profit and $3.55 will be deposited into our balance. If price goes against us and comes down and hits our stop loss, $1.53 will be taken out of our balance here. And again, I want to review with you again. So when we're buying, this green line opens up on the red line, and then this gray line will be the trigger for our stop loss, and the gray line will be the trigger for the take profit. And again, let's just practice closing a trade. I hit the X, I hit close trade, and now the trade has been closed. Our profit loss is either added or taken away to our balance. We can go into count history. We can see our 2 trades that we placed and closed. And let's go back to the trade. So that's pretty much how you set a trade, whether you're buying or selling, and then you can set a stop loss and a take profit. So let me just do it one more time, and I want you guys to practice this. Let's actually try setting a larger trade. I don't want you to do this on your live account, but this is demo, so I want you to realize how the trade size really can affect your profit or losses, right? In the future, once you master this skill, you're not going to be risking $1 or $5. You're going to be risking more money once you perfect your trading. So I'm going to show you the potential Forex has right here. So let's go new order, and let's place we were trading 0.01. Let's just go to 1 lot. And I want you to try this out because our demo account is for practicing. But once we start going into the detailed training, I want you to only place 0.01 size trades, and then I'm going to teach you later how to increase your trade size gradually through the training. But right now we're just practicing for the first time on MetaTrader 4. Let's try to place a large trade and see how it affects our stop loss and take profit. So I'm going to place a 1 lot trade. I'm going to buy. It placed a trade. I'm going to hit OK. So now I want you to look at the price difference. So let me scroll down a little bit. Look at the difference, and now my stop loss is $164, $200, $300, $400. Do you see how by placing a larger trade that our stop loss amount increases? So let's place $150 stop loss, hit modify, hit OK. So here you can see our stop loss is set. We have this red line here. We can hover above it. It's showing us that our stop loss is at $155. Again, since we were buying, the price opened up on the red line, and our trigger for our stop loss is going to be this gray line. So let's now set a take profit. So I'm going to click with my left mouse button and hold, and I'm going to drag upwards. And now look, our take profit. See how much larger it is? 227, 350, 400. Let's make it 400. So 408. I let go. I hit modify. I hit OK. Now we have a stop loss of $155, and if price continues up, it will hit our take profit of $400. Do you see the potential now that Forex has? You can risk $100 and make $400. And once that trade closes, it's going to go into our balance, and we would have made $400 profit. So I don't want you to really focus on the money. I want you to focus on the risk to reward. So in our previous example, we were risking $1 to make $3. That's a 3x return. So I want you to focus on 3x return. When we start our training, I want you to focus on, risking say $5 to make $15. Once you can master turning $5, risking $5 into $15, that is a 300% return. That is amazing money. Imagine learning a skill that you can turn $1 into $3 or $5 into $15. That's a 3x return. Once you master that, the amount of money you can make is endless. And this shows you exactly right here. We're risking, in this example, we're risking $100 to make $400. That's a 400% increase. That's amazing, right? But we're not going to focus on the money, because the main problem with Forex traders is that they focus on the money and they become greedy, and greedy makes you take larger trades before you're ready, and then you end up losing money and you get caught into this vicious cycle. But you are not going to be like this. You are not going to be like the 98% other of the traders. You're going to focus on chart analysis. You're going to forget about your phone. Some people think trading is about pushing buttons on your phone. It's not. Trading is about chart analysis. And that's why I'm going to show you how to mark up the charts on TradingView. MetaTrader 4, which we're using right now, is only for placing trades, but we're going to do detailed chart analysis on TradingView, and I'm excited to show you that. So let's just close this trade now. But the main thing I want you to focus on this lesson is I want you to just focus on what is the trigger for the stop loss and take profit. So let's just review it one more time. When you're buying, the green line is going to open on the red line, which is the buy line. And the trigger for the stop loss and the take profit will be the gray line. So I'm going to close this trade. And then when we're selling, let's sell here. See how the sell opened up on the gray line? Now the red line will be the trigger for the stop loss. So stop loss, take profit. The trigger will be the red line. Trigger for the stop loss, trigger for the take profit. That's the main thing I want you to understand from this lesson, is which line is the trigger. And of course, how to place trades and how to set up your MetaTrader 4 chart. So we've covered all that. I want you to practice this, close your trades, place trades. You can play around with, the lot sizes here, maybe play around with 0.05, right? We'll place a sell here. Again, the sell opened on the gray line. The red line will be the trigger for the stop loss and the take profit. So when we're selling, it opens up on the gray line, and the red line will be the trigger for the stop loss and take profit. And it's the opposite when we're buying. When we're buying, the red line is where it opens and the gray line will be the trigger. Okay, so that's the main stuff I wanted to show you on MetaTrader 4. The next things are just bonus stuff, right? It's not really that important, but some people love absorbing lots of information. So let me show you some other tricks or things that I know about MetaTrader 4. So if you click here, this is another way you can place a buy or a sell. So this little toggle here, you can click on buy. So it'll open up this menu right here, what we've already learned, and you can just hit sell or buy. This is just a quick way to open up the screen here. So that's a little shortcut people don't know about. The other thing I want to show you is, so right here, I'm just going to show you how to install an indicator. I don't want you to install it right now. We're going to talk about it in later chapters, but if you click on this little F+ button here and you go to trends, and then you click on moving averages, and then change this to exponential, and then change this to 8, and hit OK, and then you can go to this again and go to trends and go to moving averages and type in 18, make sure it says exponential, and you can change the color to blue, and then you have now moving averages. So I just wanted to show you how to add these two indicators. I want you to double click and I want you to right click and delete them actually. So delete indicator, right click, double click, just come to the indicator and just right click and hit delete indicator. So I'm going to talk about indicators in future lessons. I just wanted you to know that this button right here is how you can add a indicator. I'm going to talk about this all later. The type of trading I'm going to teach you has a lot to do with moving averages. It's just taking an average of price history. So it's just something I want you to know how to do. All you do is set the period. We're going to use either 8 or 18. These are the two main ones I'm going to teach you about. And then you just pick the color and you hit OK. But for now, I want you to have them deleted. I just wanted to show you that this button here is how you can add an indicator. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it that I want to show you so far on MetaTrader 4. I hope you enjoyed that lesson. I want you guys to watch this lesson again. What I suggest doing is maybe playing this, watching this video once and then having it on, watch it a second time, but just hit pause, go to your own MetaTrader 4 chart, try to do what I'm showing you, accomplish that task, and then go back to the video, hit play, and just continue doing that. So that's how I want you to do the training. I want you to watch the video once in a whole and then watch it a second time, pausing to complete the step on your own chart or your own platform, and then continue with the video. So I want you to keep doing that back and forth. I think it's going to accelerate your learning. And don't worry about mastering any of this right now. Once you reach module 2, you're going to join the private student group. You're not going to be alone. You're going to be doing this all with other students as well. I'm active in that group. So right now, the first module is just set up and just learning the basic tools. And then module 2 is where we're going to really jump into the detailed training. And you're going to be with a whole student group and you're going to be supported and you're going to love this experience. So I hope you enjoyed that one. I'll see you in the next lesson. Thanks for watching.